Welcome, all fellow wannabes. Welcome to the Wannabe Critic podcast. It's one of your favorite shows. It's Who Would Win? Myself and Tristan Twitchell, the Vandal Khan himself. We are here to ask the biggest question. In any given scenario, who would win? Tristan, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's not like we just didn't talk about Halo for like an hour, you know what I mean, and get nice and warmed up for this discussion. Dude, I have to say, first of all, it's been a lot of fun podcasting with you. I think a lot of people are enjoying these Who Would Win episodes, and this is one of my favorite shows. I enjoy doing it all, but this is one of the most fun, I think, to talk about and to put time into, and it's been a blast. So
yeah, I really hope your listeners get the vibe that this is really just a conversation between the two of us. I mean, it's like somebody just pressed record on a conversation. That's why I really like it.
Yeah, same. And it's y'all realize this is just our opinion, right? Like, this is our opinion, but we use facts. We try to come, we try and find all the loose cracks, all the loose ends, so to speak. Everything, that could potentially disprove. We try. We really do. And I think sometimes it's even reaching a little bit, but we still go for it. Want to give a big shout out to Jake Labriere, who did request this edition of Who Would Win. He presented an interesting question, and that is, what if Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch, went toe-to-toe with arguably the strongest Jedi who ever lived? When you get down to it, it's like, he's the strongest. Darth Vader. Who would win? Now, when I text you this, because we were talking about, potential matchups, and I remember thinking, I was like, Vegeta versus Kirby, like that might be kind of hard, and then I was like, oh, and then that just happened to pop up on my Twitter feed, and I was like, I sent that to you, and I just think your reply was like, oh, like 3 O's and an H.
Yeah.
Whenever you got the text, though, like, what was your initial kind of like snap judgment? Like, what did you think? Like, who would win?
Honest to goodness, my knee jerk right off the bat was, why didn't we think of that already? Like, yeah. Come on.
Yeah, that is a good
knee jerk right off the bat. It was so easy. It was like, Wanda all day long. What is Vader gonna do? He can't even get close to her.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt too. And that's where things get interesting. So before we get into it too deep, do you like, I decided to take set my camera up outside of the Northern Lights. I'm here in Alaska.
Yeah. Did you move to Norway?
Yeah.
Is that what that is? Yeah.
Here I am, the Borealis lights or whatever you call it. Don't be jealous. It is what it is. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm doing good. I get to talk too much, during each week. But Tristan, how have you been? Why don't you let people know, get the people going?
Man, I've been good. Just got my wife a new mountain bike. So the snow's kind of put a big old kibosh on that. But before the snow and hopefully after the snow, we're really kind of doing that right now. It's really fun.
That's awesome. We'll have to get, I'm getting my bike worked on here in the next week or so. You guys should come over to our place and we can go riding
for sure.
On our property. That'd be kind of fun. We can go get a beer after and, negate the effects. You know what I mean? That's good to hear though. I've been trying to be more active myself as well. I got an Oculus, so I've been boxing inside of that. Shout out to my brother Carter, who showed me this video of this guy. So he has the boxing and, you put wrist weights on. So like just 1 pound wrist weights. Sometimes I put 2 pounds on each arm. And I'll tell you, man, I'm already seeing definition in my arms. I only do it like once or twice a week, for about 20 or 30, 20 minutes. That's about all I can do, because boxing, like, you think about people who say like, oh, like I'll kick that guy's butt, whatever, it's like, you look at, it's like, okay, are you in shape? Because dude, like even just punching the air, like,
it's hard. It engages a lot more muscles, I think.
I mean, it takes so much out of you. It's insane. And, it's been like the most fun I've had working out in a super duper long time. But what's crazy is with the wrist weights, anything else within the Oculus, you play Beat Saber or do it else, like that's kind of like my cool down. So I end up burning like 500 or 600 calories per workout. and I'm building muscle at the same time. So, it's been, who said that video games are useless? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, they don't know
They
what they're
just
talking
don't
about.
know.
They don't know what
They
they're
just
talking
don't
about.
know.
God bless them.
What's funny, before we get too deep into this, a little fun story for you. My wife has recently started watching me watch people play video games because she's recently started to play video games and understands how hard all of those actions are. So now she watches these videos on YouTube with me and she's like, oh, I get it. This is why you watch this, because that was incredible.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I never people, the boomers of the generation, of these days are like, oh, why are you watching someone else play video games? And it's like, why do you watch professional football?
Yeah.
Because you can't do it. You can't do it, right? So shut up. Just shut up and go die already. Like, because you're not contributing any positivity to the situation. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. No.
Can you imagine how awesome our retirement homes are going to be when we reach that age, like as a generation?
Dude, I have thought about this so many times. It's going to be a day to remember.
Off the hook.
Blaring constantly, like the best bands ever, like blaring constantly. And like, we're going to have
constant LAN parties at Modern Warfare 3 and all this stuff.
Dude, bring your Xbox over. Like, what? It's like, for the random like 180-year-old person, it's like, does anyone want to play cards? And it's like, shut up. Shut up, Ingrid.
No one even likes cribbage anymore.
No one likes cards, and no one likes you. Like, God, get out of here.
Go eat your tapioca.
God. Oh my God. We're terrible people. Oh my God. That is funny though. It's interesting how whenever a game clicks with someone, it doesn't matter. I stand by this. I remember 3 or 4 years ago, I said, I read it in an article on I can't remember exactly what it was, but it said within 10 years, within every age group, people will be playing video games. Like every age group, people will be playing games. And I thought about that and I'm like, it's probably less than that. Because people play Candy Crush, that's a game. People play Words with Friends, that's a video game. Like you think about all these people who play games like on their iPads and stuff. A lot of those people where those games are designed for that demographic. It's not me because I'm playing on Xbox and PC, or not Xbox, PlayStation and PC or Switch, whatever. I don't play mobile games that often, but there's a huge audience of people out there, huge audience of people out there, especially older folks, that are playing games right now. So really, the people who are naysaying video games are actually just a generation or I mean, like maybe that middle generation is like really the majority of people who are like the last ones to not be playing games, but in the next few years, they'll probably be doing it, so.
For sure.
There's that.
I just recently saw where there's like a 65-year-old CSGO streamer on Twitch.
Dude, I've seen that guy. Dude, there's a lot. Have you seen the old lady that plays Skyrim? Dude, she's like, oh, I hate these skeevers. Like she'll go through, dude, it's insane. Like the most sweet woman of all time. Like, and she's like trying so hard. She's all, like, whenever she's like playing, it's so cute. It's like, I could like, who'd think, or there's that one story of that woman who had a 3DS and she played Animal Crossing New Leaf for 2 hours. Her average play time was 2 hours per day for like 3 years. She would do her chores, and then every single day she played for 2 hours. So it ended up being like a crazy amount of time. And then her DS died. So then her grandson bought her a new Switch with the new Animal Crossing. And she's like, can I do all the same stuff in this one? Like, it's just,
I don't know about these newfangled toys.
Yeah, exactly. It's just funny. Like video games are great.
That's awesome.
It's nice to hear, your wife's coming around to it, and that's for great.
Sure.
I'm trying to. My goal is to get Emma turned on to Minecraft, like, because I know she would love. Dude, I am obsessed. It's bad. Like, I have become so obsessed with Minecraft, and it's like, I never knew the possibilities that were open to me. Dude, you gave me the face. I once thought like you until I finally it was like freaking
you know what my problem is?
What?
And it may sound real douchey, and I'm sorry for that word, but it might. I can't win. You know what I mean? There's no competition to it. I don't want to just go into a game and hang out. I want to win the game.
That's true. I
Like
think
the
for
story is there, whatever, but I want to win the game.
yeah, no, I understand, and I think it's kind of falls into the same thing as whenever you feel accomplished with something you do around the house, like, oh, I want to rearrange my room, or I want to, I just want to clean stuff up, or I need to, I need to tidy that up, or whatever. It's being able to get an idea in your head and spend the time to execute that idea. Like right now, I'm building a castle. It's like the largest structure on the map. So, like, whenever you go into the world, you can see in the distance there's scaffolding everywhere. Like it's like stories and stories high. It's like, what is he doing over there? It's like, I'm building a freaking castle, dude. Like, so it
Maybe.
looks, Mikey hopped in the server and he's like, is that a crane? He's like, how'd you make a crane in Minecraft? I'm like, I didn't. It just looks like that, because it's just, it's not for everybody, but for me, like after a long day of doing whatever, and I want to play something, but I don't know, it comes from that love of Animal Crossing too. Like I do love Animal
Yeah.
Crossing, so it's just, but it's
Yeah.
not for everyone. Understood. But no one wants to hear about that, Tristan. Like, why'd you get me down?
That's not why we're here.
Yeah. Oh, hi there. Okay, let's be real for just 1 second. Nobody ever likes asking for subscribers. No one wants to ask you to click the subscribe button and to click the bell, but this is your obligatory time. If you want to subscribe to the channel, this is just your reminder to do so. I hate doing this stuff. I hate putting this at the beginning of the video, but statistically, it just makes the most sense to say it at this point because I enjoy doing YouTube. I love being a nerd. I love doing what we're doing here at Wannabe Critic Productions. And if you want to be a part of it, make sure you click the subscribe button and click the bell. You'll be notified every single time. Thank you for putting up with this. Let's get on to the content. Dang kids. We're here to talk about who would freaking win, Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch herself, or Darth Vader. Darth Vader's done some horrible things.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like,
well, Anakin's done some horrible things. Darth Vader's done some pretty awful things too.
yeah, I mean,
killing those little kids, you can't get worse than that.
No, you can't. That's right. I mean, and whenever he becomes Darth Vader, spending his life literally as just a dog, pretty much, for Palpatine, like hunting down Jedi, like that's what he does, is he just goes and finds Jedi and just slaughters them. I mean, the duality there, it's just a bad person overall. You know what I mean? For a good portion of his life. Not saying there's not redeeming qualities, because there is.
No, he's definitely a lawful evil.
Yeah, totally. So
100%.
he has some abilities that we hadn't quite known about, because my initial reaction was kind of the same as you. I was like, well, Wanda is going to body Darth Vader, and it's not even going to be competition. But then I started to do a little bit of research, as you did yourself. And I think it's probably good, before we get too deep into Vader's background, though, that we actually spend a little bit of time on this lady right here. You can kind of see her. She's got the chaos energy going. Elizabeth Olsen. I have a question for you. Do you think Elizabeth Olsen? Do you think Elizabeth Olsen sells it as Wanda?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's where Marvel's made their gajillion dollars, is their incredible casting.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think she does a good job. So I know and that's, we're really focusing. We're gonna play a little bit of devil's advocate. We're trying to focus on one iteration or one representation of a character, rather than taking every single thing they've ever been a part of, because everyone has a different take. It's like, oh, Superman would beat Goku. It's like, maybe, like, maybe I give you 50-50, like, at best.
If he starts out in the center of the sun to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, it's that one's.
I digress.
I can't even get into it. But this is going to be the iteration we're focusing on. Obviously, you have not seen all of WandaVision, or what's been going on in WandaVision, but from what we've seen so far, I feel like it's a good topic to be talking about, just because it is so topical. Wanda is no slouch. Wanda can create multiple realities. She has the chaos energy, which is derived from, different dimensions. And essentially, she has similar powers as to what the Sorcerer Supreme Doctor Strange has, because Doctor Strange also draws his power from the multiverse. Well, we know that there's many dimensions within the multiverse, and that's exactly the same thing that's going on with old Scar here. So do me a favor, read some of the abilities that are the most, Just you do your thing. You have it in front of you. Go nuts.
All right. Powers and abilities. Wanda Maximoff's main power is the superhuman ability to manipulate cosmic energies. By extension, simple indirect manifestations of energy, destabilizing probabilities by affecting energy fields and matter, ultimately inducing chaos, which is just an awesome word. I mean, if you can induce chaos, awesome. Awesome. Let's see here. Chaos. Wanda's power to alter reality itself was spawned from the combination of her abilities to affect probability and cosmic energy. So because what I gleaned from that is because she can affect cosmic energy, she can affect the probability of things that are happening within that field.
Yeah, I mean,
Makes sense?
essentially loaded dice in a way.
Yep. Wanda can tap into reality altering effects. This power was formerly limited to the creation of spheres of reality disrupting quasi psionic force. Wow, that was a word. To cause molecular disturbances in target's probability field. So it's exactly like your picture behind you is. It's just she's controlling cosmic energy from other dimensions. She can tap into and out of. For instance, and it's House of M, right? She makes a whole army from a different dimension just pop in.
Yeah.
I think it was like Earth 616 is where
Yep.
she brought them from. And
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like a weird looking army. It was just a different army from a whole different Earth.
Yeah. And that's being generous too at this point, because this right here, I'm tapping the green
She
screen.
doesn't do that.
That's not Scarlet Witch yet. That's
Mhm.
Wanda Maximoff. She has that power, but we're
scared.
talking decades of writing after, before House of M is even really a thing. Wanda Maximoff has been fully realized. And even though she was not a very super popular character within the Marvel universe, she wasn't one of the big, I mean, she was and she wasn't. But leading up to House of M, which came out in 2005, we have decades upon decades of exposition and world, story and building upon not only Wanda Maximoff, but also Vision as well in their relationship.
Yeah,
But
I saw where Stan Lee actually was recorded as saying that they created Wanda Maximoff's character specifically to explain things that they couldn't explain.
Yeah.
Things gaps that they needed to fill, they needed to have a character who could fill that gap. And that's why they're so indiscriminate and vague about what her powers are.
Yeah.
Because they need her to be able to do whatever they need her to be able to do.
Right. And you kind of get some of that with also Doctor Strange as well. Like he kind of fills a similar void. It's like, okay, well, if we're going to have this interdimensional archetype, we need to have, there needs to be good guys, there needs to be anti-heroes, there needs to be bad guys, there needs to be kind of the rogues. They kind of need to have, I think about it in terms of like Lord of the Rings, right? So you get into the Tolkien universe. Whenever we see Gandalf the Grey on screen, he is not a human. He is a completely different being altogether. Like he is in the same class of power as the Balrog. They are from the same archetype. So, like, even though Gandalf is the good-looking version of that, the Balrog is the evil-looking version of that. And so, while Wanda isn't necessarily a different archetype, her power is. So, like, Agnes, Wanda, Doctor Strange, a lot of the people that kind of fall into that more mystic and cosmic archetype, they are kind of combating the same power. And that's why it's arguable to say that Wanda Maximoff could have probably, if she had gone full Scarlet Witch, probably could have killed Thanos.
Oh yeah.
Had she had, she could have done that for sure.
And remember, they're very firm in the Marvel universe. Anything that you declare as magic is just science you don't understand. Remember, yes. Doctor Strange said, if you don't get this, pick a different word because that word doesn't matter.
It's not what you think it is. It is.
So
it is not derived.
Yeah, if you think about it from a controlling of the physics in the energy and matter in front of her hand, that is an incredible ability.
Yeah.
That is an incredible ability.
Totally. And while they do kind of explore some kind of weird things within the Marvel universe and comics and stuff, I wouldn't say they showcase it. Those things are there
Oh
because
gosh,
there's an
no.
audience for it, but I wouldn't say they
Mhm.
showcase it. And this right here, this is an enhanced person who can do things that she should not be able to do.
She's a
So
mutant,
she's
the
a
daughter of
mutant,
a mutant.
basically. So there's a lot of things, that Wanda can do. And we've established she's no slouch. Being able to derive power from the multiverse, which is exactly what she can do and what Doctor Strange does. Doctor Strange is just a regular person. He's just so mentally intuitive and smart that he was able to tap into that same power and be able to do those things. He learned how to do it. He didn't have those powers. He learned them, which is like insane to think about. But she got them naturally. So she can tap
Yeah.
into it a much easier, very much in the same way that a mutant has a certain ability, like even like mutants in the flame class. There's a lot of different people that are pyro-esque, but some are
Mhm.
more attuned to that power than others. So, and same
Yep.
thing with shapeshifters and so on and so forth. But that's what makes the Marvel universe so interesting. But we've
Mhm.
established Wanda can do some pretty insane things.
She can do some damage.
Yeah, for sure. So now we passed the torch. We were in the red corner, and now we're throwing it to now we're gonna throw it to the other red corner. Oh, this guy right
All right,
here.
we didn't think that out.
Yeah, the other red corner. Darth Vader, aka Anakin Skywalker. But make no mistake, when they say Anakin Skywalker died, that's true.
Oh yeah.
Now, to
Oh
say that
yeah.
he wasn't resurrected at the end, that's also true. But from Revenge of the Sith onward, after he does what he does at Palpatine's council room, basically, Anakin Skywalker has no redeeming qualities at that point. At that point in time, he's gone full force, and he is a
For
bad
sure. For
person.
sure.
And then this is what he turns into. But Darth Vader has some abilities that I didn't even really realize. And as we know, the dark side, it doesn't, you have kind of like the yin and yang thing with the force, whereas the dark side, they don't have to work as hard to be as in tuned with that side of the force. It just kind
Mhm.
of takes over them.
Naturally occurring.
Yeah. Whereas being a Jedi is much harder. It's much
Yeah.
harder to be able to be a Jedi than it is to be a Sith. And it
Well, and
kind of,
remember, it's not good versus evil. It's two opposing opinions
yes.
on one thing.
Yeah, totally.
The only reason we think of the Sith as evil is because the story takes place from the point of view of the Jedi. If we went to
Right.
place from the point of view of the Sith, we think the Sith or the Jedi were evil.
Totally. It's the same thing. Everyone, no matter what side you're on, everyone thinks that they're doing the right thing.
Exactly.
So, but the main thing here and the main thing that we're going to be talking about is how the force affects everything in this fight. So, without reading, kind of the ace in the hole, can you kind of just go through Vader's abilities?
For sure. So just right off the bat, everyone knows, but I still just want to say it so that we can all make the same connection together. The Force. Anakin is very much in tune with the Force. He was the chosen one. Everybody knew that. I mean, it's a fact. He is, like Gabe said earlier, the most powerful Jedi or Sith to have ever existed. What is the Force but cosmic energy? The exact same power type that little Miss Wanda Maximoff uses.
It is a power, as we've learned, it surrounds every living thing.
For sure.
Well,
And
that means
Wanda is yeah. I was just gonna say Wanda is like a baseball bat, whereas Vader is like a scalpel. You know what I mean? Like Wanda has a huge untapped power source that she can constantly call on, and it's a huge, powerful bang. But Vader is like like the sword fight in Princess Bride, just incredible technique, ability, and precision with the abilities that he has. So enough gushing. Let me get to it. I'm sorry. Force Valor right off the bat. Vader can use various different techniques to enhance his speed, reflexes, and strength. Force Push, we've all seen. Wave, repulse, pull. Everybody's seen those. Push and pull, pretty simple. Um, force choke, force grip, force stasis. Force stasis is what we saw Kylo Ren do at the beginning of, was it the first one, The Force Awakens, where he stops the lightning bolt or
Yeah.
the blaster bolt?
Yep.
So Vader's capable of that. He's, probably the one who invented it, if we're honest.
Probably.
I mean, let's not get dramatic here, but probably.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said before, Scarlet Witch, Wanda, whatever you want to call her, she's a baseball bat. Vader has perfected what she has just started. And even if you give her the extent of her powers, on a power level scale, maybe, sure, but she will never be as finely tuned a machine as Darth Vader has become. This is not possible.
Well, and that you bring up a good point too. Like, I want to take a minute to kind of dive into Anakin Skywalker's mentality. So he's dead, right? Quote unquote, like the person we knew him as, but his traits, his qualities are still there. Anakin Skywalker had a lot of really good ideas, and he was very admirable general. I mean, he was a warrior, like, and he figured out the best ways to execute X, Y, and Z, whatever it was. What's
he was incredible at winging it.
Yeah, exactly. What's to say that spending time with a darker side of the Force that's much more inviting and much more based off of the traits that he already possesses, which is rage, love, and anger, what's to say that he doesn't perfect those things, or like you said, even invent some new ideas that would be passed on? So not only is Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader like most powerful Jedi ever, he could potentially be the smartest ever in terms of inventing new Force things to do. The only reason he can't use Force lightning is because of his suit that he's in.
Mm-hmm.
And had he still had his other arm and both of his legs, his midichlorian count would have been insane. He would have been unstoppable. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, you're probably donezo. But as you make an interesting, you make an interesting thing. A baseball bat can be precise, but there's a lot of swing and missing going on. Probably it's much more easy. Sure. Whereas a scalpel, a blade, especially a hidden blade. You could even go as far to say, like, if she's got a baseball bat and is throwing it around, he's got a hidden blade of sorts. Mm-hmm. You don't even see it coming.
No,
you
can't.
And that's just going, like you said. I think in terms of raw power, Wanda probably has him beat there. But just because
she was born with it. She had to have, she's a mutant.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but who else? Just that doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? Like Naruto Uzumaki had the freaking 9-tailed fox inside of him for 15 years and didn't even, could not control that huge power. He didn't even know how to use it.
Look at Phoenix and Jean Grey.
Another great example. You just because you have that power doesn't mean you know how to use it right. Like you said, Vader perfected it.
Oh, yeah.
But
here's another one just real quick before we get to the pièce de résistance, because I didn't know that this one existed. And so I was blown away when I read it. And I want to make sure all the listeners get it. Force Maelstrom. Arguably Anakin's strongest Force ability, he creates a nigh impenetrable bubble-shaped barrier. Then he picks up all loose objects in the area and swirls them around in a storm of telekinesis, bombarding people with the debris as they fly around helplessly in the air. What do you do against that?
I don't know. That sounds terrifying. We're making on. Here's the thing: Vader has more abilities than she does. Like, you go down the list. I mean, first of all, she might have more raw power, but the explanations for the things that she does, we cannot comprehend that. Like, but we can comprehend what Vader can do. There's no way to kind of put them on the same scale. And then whenever you have them go toe to toe, it does kind of become a battle of who has the better mind powers, basically. Who can wield those powers better.
Yeah. So, who can mess with the other person's mind better?
And we have one thing that Vader can. We're gonna go tit for tat here, like how we usually do. It's like, okay, let's say, what is Wanda gonna do? She's gonna do this, then Vader's gonna do this. Yada. Okay, Vader is a seasoned general and has seen fight upon fight upon fight upon fight upon fight, and has taken down some very strong people, insanely strong people. So we're going to get to what exactly happens in a minute. But the last thing we want to talk about that Vader can do, where Vader has like the edge on Wanda. And it's like they were made. It was like they were made for each other. Honestly, like this fight was made for each other. Go ahead and read it, Tristan.
So everyone knows there is a mild sense of telepathy with anybody that's majorly connected to the Force. Part of that Vader has perfected and probably once again invented is an ability called Dun Mok. Another of Anakin's favorite abilities, he probes the minds of his opponents in their battle to find their weaknesses and insecurities, then uses taunts and insults to break their concentration and install doubt and fear into his opponents, which is everything that feeds the dark side.
Yeah.
And boom, golden gun.
You know what's crazy that I just thought of is like Anakin's got some pretty good jokes. And so would Darth Vader probably. So
for sure.
Let's start it out. Let's go tit for tat here, okay?
Okay.
So we're gonna start with Scarlet, with Wanda, whatever you want to call her. She shows up. I would say, arguably, she's probably going to, invent some sort of false reality surrounding Darth Vader. Probably.
I would totally think that would be the first thing she would do.
I think
100% because they both have that cosmic energy connection, so that they can probably feel each other's power.
Yeah, totally. Like, wait a minute, what's going on? And
yeah,
Vader could probably say something
that?
you could either say Vader's like, wow, you're the power you could, the Force is strong with you. Holy crap! Like what's going on? Because that's basically what Wanda has. It's the same 100%. Thing. That's what the Force is.
100%.
And it's just more of a physical embodiment. I mean, in a similar way as lightning looks like. That's kind of, you could argue that's kind of what she's doing. Channeling it in a different way. I think she's going to try and go for the false reality, but that's not going to work on Vader.
No,
because to be a Jedi and wield the Force, which we've established is arguably super duper similar to what she has, he's not going to let him fall. He's not going to let himself fall under that spell, so to speak.
No. He's seen enough Jedi mind tricks. I mean, if you think about it, he studied under Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Obi-Wan Kenobi has the best Jedi mind trick of any Jedi Knight or Master. Pardon me.
Yeah, I mean. It's just not going to work. I'm sorry.
It's not.
It doesn't work.
Especially because he's a scalpel and she's a bat.
Yeah.
He'll see that bat swing.
Yeah. I mean, I think about it, like whenever you play poker with somebody and they're a little bit younger than you, but you've played way more poker than they have, but they're confident in their poker playing. And then you could, with the way they're betting, you already know what's happening. You already know what they're doing. So you know how to act accordingly. That's how it's going to be.
Yep.
In that type of situation, it's not going to work.
No. And, think about it too. Vader doesn't run.
No.
You know what I mean? So Wanda approaches him. He's going to slowly walk at her. He has all the time in the world to think about what he's going to do to that.
Well, and you could argue it's like, maybe he lets her get through kind of. Let's take it a step further. Maybe he lets her do it. Like he's like, okay, we'll play your game.
See what you can do.
But he could potentially play off of that. He could potentially play off of the world that she has created.
She is so weak-minded. I mean, really, she is, if you think about it. That if he started feeding into her reality-altering ability, it would instantly turn into a nightmare for her and he would be fine.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, he could very much use her powers against her in the sense that he can probe the mind. It's like, you start pulling up visions of vision, or, the losses, the things that make her doubt herself, which we see a lot of doubt in Wanda Maximoff throughout the entire MCU, at least. And in the comics too.
And who's to say, their power once again comes from the same source. He's an incredibly adept, fine-tuned watchmaker of that ability. Who's to say he can't affect it himself? He doesn't even need her.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe not majorly, but tweaks here and there, change that face to visions.
Yeah,
100%.
that's exactly what I was thinking
100%.
too. Like taking those insecurities and projecting that back. Because I mean, he has telepathy, so you can. He has telepathy, but he might not have as good of control. Like you said, nothing major, but tweaks here and there. I think that's probably possible,
For
especially
sure.
since the
And
things
all
we've
you
seen
need is
him. Yeah,
tweaks.
little
All you need is
things.
tweaks. Feed that
Yeah,
fear. You can't come at fear with a blunt force trauma thing. You have to slow drip it.
yeah, like trickle charge, basically.
Exactly.
So
And
once
then
she
he has a laser
realizes,
sword.
yeah, exactly, and that's the thing too is once she realizes, like once she realizes that this is not going to work, that could actually add more insecurity and be like, well, frick, what do I do now? You know what I mean? And
There's
then it's like
nowhere to
whenever it,
run.
yeah, exactly. Then whenever she snaps out of it and he, and he like is ready, you pull out
Who's
the
to say
light
he doesn't immediately force
force
choke her
choker
right there?
or do something.
Wham!
You know what I mean? And I don't think here's what I think Vader would do. I don't think he's going to blunt force it. I don't think he's going to try that. I think he is petty enough because that's, I mean, you think about negative traits, like a full 180, like a good-hearted individual, a good person, full 180, jealousy, petty, angry, proud. Yes, totally.
Very
The
proud.
hot Skywalker blood.
Oh my
He could
goodness.
he could probably get inside of her head and make her doubt herself enough.
Honestly, if you think about it, her projecting a reality on him will probably just piss him off.
Yeah, like what do you think you're doing? Like, do you know who I
Yeah,
am?
how dare you?
Basically. Yeah. And then I think it could be one of those things too. You think about like maybe she does something to where she tries to combat his lightsaber, she's throwing stuff at him or whatever, and he's like, okay, well, I can do that too, Maelstrom, boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she could probably anchor herself or something like that. But everything that she throws at him, everything she tries to do, it just basically gets waved aside. That's going to continue to add to the insecurity. She's going to be a little kid, basically like on the floor pouting. And as she's trying to throw things at him or throw whatever she can at him, he's just like disregarding it, just like you said, slowly moving forward. And then once he knows who Vision actually is, he could say, maybe you need to be with like a real android or, like a real like machine man or something like that, could play into that. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
God, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And
Like,
who's to say, because, we've already established her powers are more pure energy and his are more like Green Lantern constructs, more of a decided, I want to do this vibe to them. Who's to say that her pure energy blast cannot just be absorbed and redirected by somebody who's more adept at using that ability?
I thought of that same thing, kind of like how whenever Dooku tried to use lightning on Yoda, and then Yoda was like,
Exactly.
much to learn, you're still at it.
No.
Now, I will say, using cosmic energy, who's to say that she can't start a storm? Vader's suit could potentially be used as a lightning rod, in a way. I think that
Yeah.
because I don't want to just say, I mean, you see where the fight is going, you see what we're doing here, and if you disagree, come at me, bro. Like we're throwing these are the facts.
There's no way.
These are the facts. I mean, I see this. I see him slowly advancing. Her getting super pissed off as a last ditch effort, using her cosmic energy to start some sort of storm to repulse him. But guess what? He can as he's maelstorming around. You could even argue that would probably be what happened, because if he's still maelstorming as he's moving forward towards her, she's anchored herself down. She's like, this is pissing me off. Uses the energy to like have some sort of combustion. You already have the motion going from his power. So that could be reactive, and then who's to say that he doesn't catch some lightning or doesn't get hurt or doesn't get hit or something? You don't.
Well, she does have that probability affecting thing.
Right.
That's that unquantifiable source,
Totally.
So, and if you think about it, there's a lot in Vader's suit that can go wrong.
Totally.
He needs that suit. You snap one little hose in the right place and Vader's dead in 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
An electrical shock really isn't that hard. I mean, Darth Sidious's lightning, they obviously never tell you how much it is or whatever, but it's not like it's, 15-foot diameter lightning bolts that are getting shot at Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just little lightning coming out of his hands. So while it is powerful, it's probably not the most powerful voltage we've ever seen.
and we're not trying to say by any means that Vader comes out of this unscathed. I think as he's advancing towards Wanda, I mean, that seems like the most character accurate thing to be happening. He's advancing
Yep.
towards her. She's throwing everything she can at him. She
He
uses
doesn't
that
even look like
ability.
he's trying to block anything. He's
No, he's
just
just
walking
taking it.
straight
Just
into it.
straight
Yep.
line. Saber isn't even drawn yet. You know what I
Probably
mean?
not.
Like probably just walking. It's like you don't even know what you're doing. And then maybe he catches her off. Maybe she catches him off guard, and some sort of thing fails in his suit. Maybe, but at that point, it's just raw energy. It's not. It's not directed. It's not with intent. It's not.
Mhm.
She is not prepared for that type of fight. She is a. She is. I mean,
She's a glass cannon.
she really is. I mean, in a lot of ways, and just because she could kill. I mean, that was an interesting thing too. Is like, does Thanos beat Darth Vader? No. Like Darth Vader absolutely bodies Thanos without
Yeah.
without the gauntlet and the stones. No
Yeah.
chance. Like no
Well,
chance.
see, the Infinity Gauntlet is almost its own character.
Yeah, you can't like because I mean we saw like anyone can wield it, right? I mean he just had
Yeah.
the raw strength to actually absorb everything that was happening. So
Yeah.
just in case you're still holding on to that, you can throw that out the window. It's not a thing. Like he loses,
No.
I promise.
No. And then, we've only focused on the power and ability side of it because that's the fun and fancy and, fireworks and explosion side of it. But Anakin Skywalker is a decorated war general. I mean, we touched on this earlier, but what has Wanda Maximoff done in terms of battles compared to Anakin Skywalker? It's like, yeah, she's done a lot of really cool stuff and she's bodied a lot of really awesome people. But Anakin has been in charge of sieges, both on a planet and in space. Anakin has led small squadrons into super, super heavily armed territory and winged it, got his way out. You know what I mean? He's hyper intelligent. He's wise beyond his years. He knows exactly what to do in every situation. And if her first attack doesn't work, I really see her breaking down and crying.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's being helpless because we've seen that. We've seen and the source material does the exact same thing. What does she do? What can she do? They gave her some really cool material in House of M and the things that followed that and the things that were before that. They gave her a lot of really cool stuff. And obviously there's going to be that one fan out there that's like, you didn't think about this. It's like, does that one instance give you sway over the fight? No, it doesn't. In terms of ability, experience, psyche, Anakin has nothing to lose. Darth Vader has nothing to lose. The only thing that he could lose is his, that he even cares about is probably his son, which we've seen, but he dies shortly after he meets his son.
And he has absolutely no doubt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He is 100% believe that he is right in everything that he does.
Totally.
Everything about Wanda is doubt.
Yeah. That's what her character.
Everything about her is doubt.
And trying to undo what has already been done.
Exactly.
And, create everything. Yeah. Creating false realities, like not accepting reality. It is the yin and yang it's like one of the best yin and yang things I've ever seen. You have doubt versus confidence. It doesn't mean, I've met a lot of really confident people that were complete D-bags. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I just like, okay. And even overconfident, you can throw that in there too. But I mean, Wanda thrives. Wanda is the Raven of the MCU. She only thrives in a group. She cannot, very little.
She's an incredible backup. She's an incredible support character.
It's
but
like,
that's it.
I think, and this is really weird, but I think about like whenever you play, you play Pokemon and like,
of course,
you have a Pokemon out front that uses Sandstorm to last, the next 3 to 5 turns, to where there's going to be that background stress that's going to be affecting the outcome of the battle. You know how many times I've died to Sandstorm or Hail?
Hail, yeah. Hail was what I thought. Stupid freeze. Oh my gosh.
A lot. It's happened a lot. And I played a lot of Pokemon, and that's happened a lot. Wanda is that almost, Mother Nature-esque force. She's like the embodiment. She is the embodiment of cosmic energy. But just because she can do that, I mean, you're talking about a master, like you said, a master watchmaker of that same energy. So
exactly. He's perfected it. She's just started.
I think as things continue to keep failing, Vader makes his advance. And then by the end of it, he just says all too easy, draws a saber and just cuts her down. Like,
That's even if he feels like he needs to do it.
He may not even, oh my God,
He could
may not
force
even kill
children
her.
from like kilometers away.
Well, and he may not even kill her.
Yeah, just take her captive.
Or no, he'd just be like,
take her.
He's like, you're broken enough. Like,
yeah,
deuces. like,
later.
Like you caught me on a good day. I'm on my way to go kill someone else. So, I'll just leave you there broken for the rest of your life.
Pretty good. New, but good. Later.
Yeah, exactly.
Team Rocket style, launch her off into space.
Literally. Yeah, exactly. There's just too much against Wanda, and we've tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. Like, we've tried to say, like, well, maybe she can summon a storm, right? And like do that. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Vader can turn invisible. I mean, we've just barely scratched the surface of what Vader can do.
I mean, it's just not even a competition.
No.
But it is funny how on paper it does seem like it is.
100%.
Like, oh, well, she can invent Westview and blah, 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 like all this other stuff. Yeah. With weak-minded individuals.
Yep. With
There's
idiots.
a difference. So
Anakin Skywalker is not an idiot.
No, he's not. So it comes down to the question: out of 100 times, who would win? Darth Vader, Wanda Maximoff. What do you think?
Honestly, this is the most one-sided matchup I think we've had. Really, it is. I don't think it's fair to say 100 times Vader wins out of 100 because, like we've said, Wanda's unquantifiable. But I think at least 95 times out of 100 Vader wins. Genuinely.
Yeah. I had 90 in my head. 90 out of 100.
Well, yeah, you're anti-decimal, so that makes sense.
Yeah. But still, I mean, the idea is still there. I mean, there's not that much difference. I mean, think about this too. Doctor Strange said there was one way that they can win. Wanda was still alive during that time and still had incredible power. I mean, she destroyed the Mind Stone.
Mm-hmm.
She's strong.
For sure.
But she did not play into how that outcome is. Like she did not play the most pivotal role in how that works. I mean, she did kind of an Endgame. She fought him, and had her powers been more realized, like we said, she could have killed Thanos.
Oh, easy.
But we've established that Thanos isn't Vader. Vader absolutely. I mean, Thanos charges Vader. He's going to crumple that giant purple wad, purple body into a wad, basically, and toss him aside. No problem.
Bye-bye, Grimace.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So are we going to say 90 out of 100 Vader wins this fight?
Easy.
Yeah. There's just not enough. There's just not enough there.
And even, I know you hate decimals, but an argument could be made for 99 out of 100.
Yeah.
With the only reason that she wins the one because she is so unquantifiable.
Yeah. I mean, anywhere ranging from basically anywhere within 10%. You know what I mean? It is basically somewhere in there.
90 out of 100. Yeah.
Somewhere in there, she has a chance. To say that she doesn't have a chance is not fair. Because I think that's fake. That's not a thing. To say that she doesn't have a chance, that is not fair. And that
like a baseball bat, like we said, baseball bat could hit a home run.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
and I mean,
if that connects with Vader in the right way, you can't tell me he wouldn't get thrown back.
Yeah, dunzo. But you can't say like, oh well, she would just like make his like she would just like pull apart his armor, she would negate his powers. No, like that's not how it works. She literally uses the same type of energy that Vader has, and Vader is way better at it.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it, folks. That was one of the best ones, I think, as far as like one-sided ones go, because we tried, and I think we painted a pretty good picture. Good job. You know what I mean? Like Vader is an unstoppable force. Like I think about like a, not a bulldozer, but like those flatteners with the giant rollers. Like it's like, they're coming. You can't stop them. Like they're coming. It's like in Austin Powers, he's all stop. like that's Vader, literally. You just
Yeah.
can't. And no matter how hard you try,
He's a perfectly made bad guy.
yeah.
I mean, think about it. The character is an incredible bad guy.
Yeah. I mean, one of like the smartest politicians ever, who also happens to be a Force user, chose him and had very similar abilities that Vader has and was able to see like, oh, this guy's going to be unstoppable if we can make him like insanely unstoppable. So yeah, no, there you have it, folks. Vader is the unanimous decision, and it's pretty one-sided, that Vader wins this fight. So
for sure.
Tristan, did we miss anything? I feel like we covered that one pretty well. That might be our best episode yet.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, they just keep getting.
I really liked that episode. I really did. I thought I wasn't gonna like it after I really started doing my research, just because of how one-sided it was. But it was fun. It was fun to defend.
Yeah, it was. It's always fun to defend. It's always fun to defend the person that it's always fun to defend the underdog. You know what I mean? Like whenever the Chiefs and the 49ers go, or, not 49ers, the Chiefs and the freaking Bucks go to the Super
Tampa
Bowl,
Bay.
and then it's like, oh yeah, this is bad. It's like crap. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, good times. Tristan, thank you for your time as usual, my guy. It's always been a blast. If you have ideas for things that you want to, us to talk about, here's the thing. You can shoot us those ideas. It doesn't mean we're going to cover it. I'm sorry. Now, if you want to, for sure, no, you guys need to talk about this and do your research, you're more than welcome to go to Patreon and request it there. You can subscribe to the request tier, because that ensures that your matchups get heard, whatever you want. I don't care who
no matter how dumb.
No matter how stupid it is. If you just literally want to hear us talk about it for an hour, to get your money's worth.
We'll do M&M's versus Skittles if that's what the people want.
If you give the people what they want, and then what else can they say? You know what I mean? Like, so that's the way to do it. But definitely go in the description down below and at least check out other projects. But I would encourage you, if you want to continue to support us by listening, that's great. If you want to figure out a different, if you want to take it further, go check us out on patreon.com/wannabecritic, and you can figure out how you can further support us there. So Tristan, it is always a blast, man. I can't wait. Every time I finish one of these, it's like, God, I could record another one right now. Like right now, I could go right.
I got the topic. You just let me know and I'll drop it right here. Blow your mind.
What? Okay. Give us the official next fight for who would win. Do you have it?
I mean, I have an idea, but I don't want to just decide for the family.
Do it right now.
Luffy? I don't know.
He's like, crap. He really put me on the spot. Let's stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. If you have requests, like I said, let us know. We're
I'm gonna find an opponent for that stretchy jerk,
dude. And don't say Mr. Fantastic, because Mr. Fantastic.
Oh God, no. I'm stuck between Kimimaro and Wolverine.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, Wolvie
versus Luffy.
That'd be intense.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we have some thinking to do, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you're tuning in. Make sure you're staying attuned to our content, and we always appreciate everything that you tell us. Like, tell us how we're doing. Tell us that we're wrong. You know what I mean? Like, fight with us on the internet. It's the best thing ever. So
whatever possessed you to check out the podcast or the YouTube channel today, I just want to say thank you so much for doing so. If this is your first time here, I would appreciate it, if you would consider subscribing. As you can tell, it's not just me here anymore. I mean, I do stuff by myself, but the podcast is going to reside here from now on, in video form. So if you want to see more content, if you want to be notified, every time we post something, whether it be a clip, a podcast, a review, an interview, whatever it may be, if it's gaming stuff, make sure you click that bell and hit the subscribe button, and we will see you next time. Thanks for sticking around, and thank you for preparing yourselves for a plethora of hot takes and potentially unpopular opinions. I'm Gabriel Fast. I will always be the wannabe critic.